In a better place at a better time, because you are now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. It's that go-getter energy that moves you, me, and everyone else to make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. We put all this together. What you get is the mindset, the method, the podcast known as Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, your host today and every day. Welcome to the show. Today's topic is you're thinking too damn much. You are thinking too much. Yes, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with thinking. I'm not saying that you should just go out and recklessly do things without considering it, without putting some intelligence behind it, but you are doing it too much. You're thinking too much and it's keeping you away from the things you should be getting in your life. And I'll explain exactly what I mean by that in today's episode. Back in episode number 190, and I know we're over 1,000 episodes now, but back at episode 190, you can get the full archive of the show at dreallday.com/podcast. I answered the question, what if I fail? And this is a question that I've been asked many times over the years by people when they've heard me share some advice or information or some how to do it this way, do this thing, take these steps, take these actions. And they say, well, what if it doesn't work? What if I start to do that thing, but I don't actually get the result? What if I am planning to get this result by taking these actions, but people react in a negative way to me? What if people don't react at all? What if no one even gives a damn or pays attention? What if all this effort that I put into what I'm doing doesn't work at all? And it stops people from taking action because they allow that what if to be their excuse for inaction. And again, I talked about that in episode number 190, but it is directly related to the topic we're talking about here today, because I found that if I just give you these two phrases, indecisive and overly cautious. Indecisive and overly cautious are two phrases that describe most people. I'm probably describing you at times right now. Risk averse, prone to playing it safe, and thusly missing out on opportunity after opportunity, many of which you never even knew were opportunities that you're missing out. You don't even know that you're missing out on opportunity because you're thinking yourself out of your own success so many times that you don't even see the times that you missed an opportunity. You don't even see the chances that you didn't even take. You don't even see where you blew it because you wanted to think too much, because you were thinking, what if I fail? Because you were thinking, what if, fill in the blank, anything that you don't want. That's pretty much what people do with this what if statement. What if, and then they fill in the blank with things that they don't want, that you don't want to happen. Then you use that as the excuse for not taking action because you're like, well, I got to make sure I can foolproof myself and soundproof, so to speak, myself against this thing that came after the what if, to keep that from happening. So I'm not going to do anything. I got to make sure I get all the information because I don't want to start making calls or making my product or start a podcast or start a YouTube channel or say these things or present myself a certain way to anybody, because what if, then fill in the blank with some negative outcome. So just to make sure that doesn't happen, until I get a clear answer to that what if, or until I can guarantee that what if never happens, I'm not going to do anything. And this is why most people go through life with a whole bunch of ideas, a whole bunch of grand plans and bold schemes, and never ever take the first step on them because they allow that what if to keep them from taking action. And usually they just spend that time either doing absolutely nothing, ignoring the situation, or thinking about it too much. Either way, you end up not doing anything. And if you don't produce something, if you don't do something, you don't take action, nobody's going to remember you for what you thought about. But let's get into our points here today. Today's topic is you are thinking too much. Point number one, when your mind sees something, when you get that feeling in your stomach, in your gut, in your chest, in your head, that you see something and you see it as an opportunity, your mind is telling you, you know what, this could be your chance. This right here is an opportunity for you, whether that's a person you could be meeting, a product you could be selling, a deal that you could close, some action you could take that will put your life or your business or your sport or whatever you have going on into a better space than is in right now. Whenever your mind tells you, you get that quick little gut feeling, mindful feeling that tells you this is an opportunity, this is a chance for you to take right now. Those are your instincts talking to you. Your instincts are letting you know there's a chance here. There's an opportunity here. There's something that you could do with this situation in front of you right now. And all of us know exactly what that feeling feels like. And this is what happens to us. Our conscious minds, the parts that we actually can tell ourselves what to think, the part of your mind right now that if I asked you, what are you thinking? And you could actually consider what you're thinking. That's our conscious mind. Our conscious mind isn't nearly as smart as our instincts. Even though you could be a really intelligent person, well-read, read all the books, listen to all the podcasts 3 times, take notes on everything. You got a college degree, you got a couple degrees, you've been to all the seminars, you watch TED Talks. You could be a very intelligent person, smarter than everybody around you. Your conscious mind is not nearly as smart as your instinctive mind, no matter how much intelligence you gather and pack into that gray matter between your ears. But we often allow our conscious minds to get involved in conversations with our unconscious, with our instincts, and our conscious minds fuck the whole situation up. What our conscious thoughts do is dilute the clear thought that is delivered by instinct. As I told you many times here on the show, instinct does not lie. Instinct will never tell you a lie. Instinct will never steer you wrong. Instinct never tells you something that's not true. Now, the thing that your instinct tells you may not be something you want to act on right there in the moment, because maybe socially, maybe just based on the situation, maybe you got to think a little bit more politically and strategically at times. You may not be able to act on exactly what your instinct tells you in the moment at all times. For example, if you go to, I went to CVS the other day and the guy at the register was being kind of rude to me. My instinct might have told me, slap this guy in the face for being a dick. Now, my instinct was telling me that, and he wasn't wrong. This guy was being a dick, and he did deserve to get slapped in the face. Doesn't mean it'll be the best idea for me to do it, but my instinct was telling me there's something ain't right about this guy. This guy is not you, Dre. It's him. Your instinct could be telling you things. Doesn't mean you need to act on it right there in that moment, but you do need to consider. You do need to file it away and consider, what can I do with this information? Because your instincts never tell you anything that's bullshit. Your instincts never tell you anything dumb. Your instincts never tell you anything that is just completely patently false and incorrect. Your conscious mind does. Your conscious mind will tell you some things that are just not true. Because when we turn over a situation enough in our minds, especially if you think about, you ever been in a situation of something that you actually didn't want. You did not want a certain circumstance, but that circumstance did exist in a moment. If you thought about it for long enough, you could kind of mentally talk yourself into that situation being okay, even though the situation wasn't okay. You could talk yourself into, this is something that I can work out, even though there was no way you could work it out and make anything come of that situation. So our conscious minds can lie to us if we turn a situation over in our minds often enough, because we're just that smart. But our instincts will always tell us clear from the beginning exactly what it is. Now, sometimes we listen. Oftentimes, especially for those of you who I'm talking to today in this topic, you're thinking too much. We don't listen. Then we end up coming back at the end, whether that takes a day, a week, or 20 years of our lives, coming back to, the thing my instincts told me the first time, the thing that my gut told me from the beginning, that was the thing that I should have followed from the very beginning. I never actually did it, and damn it, now I blew that opportunity. Damn it, now it's too late. Damn it, now I got to start here when I could have started this 3 years ago. This is what happens when we allow our conscious minds to get in the way and dilute the clear ideas, the clear thinking, the clear messages that come from our instincts. And this is what happens when you're thinking too much. If any of you have ever dealt with that, then today's topic, I'm specifically talking to you, but you probably already knew that. Your instincts told you as soon as you heard the topic. Point number 2. You see what I did there? Today's topic is you are thinking too much. Understand that some things in life can only take place in the moment. And I'm using air quotes when I say in the moment, meaning when your instinct tells you this is an opportunity right here. You need to say something right here. There's something you need to do right now. When your instincts tells you that, there are some situations in which the only chance you will have to do anything is right there in the moment. What I just said a couple minutes ago is that sometimes our instincts tell us something. We don't act on the instinct. We allow our conscious minds to give us a different idea that is not the best idea. We go do the thing our conscious mind said, maybe the next thing and the next thing our conscious mind said. When the first thing doesn't work out because we're being persistent and disciplined, we go and try all these different things. Nothing works out. We finally end up coming back to the thing our instinct told us from the beginning, and we take that action. Sometimes in life you can do that. Sometimes in life you will be afforded that luxury of making mistake after mistake that was supplied to you by your conscious mind. You can come back to what your gut told you from the beginning and do it and finally make things good. Might be late, but you at least can make things good. But there are other situations in life, ladies and gentlemen, where if you don't take the right action from the beginning, if you don't follow your instinct as it told you to follow it, you can't go back to it. You can't get a do-over and say, oh no, all right, I messed up. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do this. No, it's too late. The opportunity's gone. You just missed it. When you pause, hesitate to think about something, oftentimes you may blow the moment that is right there in front of you and you completely miss your chance and you don't get that chance again. I heard Idris Elba. I don't know if it's Idris or Idris. I think it's Idris. Idris Elba, the actor who played, I know him best as Stringer Bell from The Wire, but you may know him from some other roles that he played. I'm not really big on movies, but Idris Elba said, he was in I forget what magazine this was in, but there was an article where he had been named, one of the sexiest men or most attractive men or one of those. And they're interviewing him and they asked him, how do you go about talking to women, or if men wanted to know, because I'm not sure he's in a relationship or not. They were asking him, if men who are reading this want to learn from you, the sexiest man alive, Mr. Elba, what do they need to do when they see a woman that they're attracted to, or they see a woman who seems to be attracted to them? What should a man do? What should a man say? How should he carry himself? How should he approach? You're the sexiest man alive. Any man can answer this question. You can, Idris Elba. What should you do? You know what he said? He said, what a man needs to do, and this is his exact words. He said, you need to grab your ball sack and walk up to the woman and put your nuts on the table and just say what's on your mind. Now, I may have paraphrased that a little bit, but he did use the word ball sack and he did use the word nuts. Grab your ball sack, walk over to the woman and say what's on your mind. If you blow that opportunity, and he continued and said, if you blow that opportunity and you kind of think about it and you hesitate and you're like, hey, wait, what should I say? Or how do I look? Or what if she's not interested? Or what if I fail? As I said back in episode 190, if you do all those things, you blow your opportunity, you make the woman feel a little bit, I don't even know what's the word that I'm looking for here. She feels a little bit self-conscious because she saw the moment. You saw the moment. You know that she knows that you saw the moment, and then you hesitated. Now she's like, wait a minute, is it me? Wait a minute. And now it's awkward. Now when you finally walk over, you done blew the moment, you done blew the opportunity, you showed a little bit of hesitation, you showed a little bit of caution. Listen, human beings, whether they're male, female, whether we're talking intimate relationship, business relationship, or any other casual relationship in life, people follow strength. People follow those who are bold. People follow those who know where they're going. People follow those who are confident. When you hesitate, when you pause, when you hem and haw, when you see an opportunity and everybody knows you saw the opportunity, but you don't act on it, now everybody's infused with this awkward energy because now you showed a little bit less than maximum confidence. You showed a little bit less than maximum boldness. You showed a little bit of timidity. Now people are questioning, are you the person to follow? Now people are wondering, is this really the person whose lead that I should be taking? Now the woman is saying to herself, am I really as interested in this man as I thought I was? Because he looked good when he walked in the door. But then when he looked at me and he saw me looking at him and he was about to walk over here, but then he hesitated. Then he paused. Then he had to think about what to say. Now he's coming over here. Now I'm not sure he's as confident as I thought he was. And confidence is sexy, people. At least that's what I've heard. When you hesitate, you blow the opportunity. Even if what you say, let's say you walk up to that woman, and then I'm speaking metaphorically here. So we could be talking about walking up to a woman. We could talk about introducing a business opportunity, asking somebody to do something. You see somebody you know or you know of who could help you get to the next level, and this is your only chance to talk to them. And you just walk up to them and say whatever is on your mind, and you do it confidently and boldly, even if what you say doesn't make sense. Even if you're not the most eloquent speaker, it's the boldness, it's the energy of the way you approach that communicates to people. I mean, all of us have heard the statistic, right? That they say that only 7% or 10% or 15%, some small amount of communication is actually in textual, right? What we say. What I say on this podcast matters. You pick up on that maybe 7, 10, 15, let's just say 15% to be generous of what I'm actually saying, actual words. Now, I know your conscious mind is telling you, man, I listened to exactly what Dre says. I heard what he said there. I took notes on that. That point that he made was real good. That story right there, I could tell you the story that Dre told 2 episodes ago exactly as he said it, because you believe, your conscious mind has you believe that you're really, really listening to the words, and that's really what's communicating with you. But science says most of what we pick up from other people's communication is not what they say, but how they say it. Is the energy with which I'm speaking, is the confidence with which I'm putting my ideas out there, is the way that I'm communicating, the quirks of my communication, the little side notes, the jokes every now and then when I tell a joke, anything that I'm saying, it's the everything other than the words is really what you're picking up on. It's really what is going to attract you and say, I'm going to keep listening to the show, or repel you and say, I'm not really messing with this dude. Even if everything that I said to your conscious mind is perfect and is a great point and you agree with it, if the unconscious, the nonverbal communication rather, is not connecting with you, you're not going to connect with me and you're not going to stay on this. And if I'm out in the street and somebody's not really feeling my nonverbal communication, maybe the way I'm dressed, the way that I walk, the way I talk, the energy that I'm carrying, the look in my eye, the tone of my voice, if they're not feeling any of that stuff, it doesn't matter what I say, it's not going to last. Any kind of relationship. And it's the same thing with you. And it's the same thing when we're talking about here. Today's topic again is that you're thinking too much. When you overthink because you got to make sure consciously you're doing everything right, understand is not the things that you're doing consciously that people are picking up on anyway. The thing that's going to determine whether you succeed or fail in whatever you're thinking about doing is not based on what you do consciously. It's based on the unconscious communication that you don't even know is going on. Point number 3. Today's topic is you are thinking too much. Understand that in life, us human beings, you look around at this life, at people that you know and people that, not even people that you know personally, but people who you know of. Why do you know of them? You don't know of people. I'm talking, when I say know of, that means you heard of them. You know something about what they do. You can identify them through something, but you don't actually know them. Like, you don't know them to speak to, or you don't have their phone number or nothing like that. If you've seen them, they wouldn't know who you are, and you could say you know who they are, but they don't know you. All right. So when you know of people, what do you know of them through? Usually only one thing, and that's through their actions. When you describe a person who you do know to someone else, what do you usually talk about? Their actions. This person plays basketball. This person owns a business. This guy drives a Lamborghini. This person here has a really nice manicured lawn that they keep clean all the time. We only remember people, identify people, and talk about people based on what they do, not what you think, not what you thought about. Posterity will remember those for what they did. Anyone who gets remembered when you're not around, or you get mentioned when you're not in the room, you know why people mention you? They mention what you did, not what you thought about, not what you considered, not what you hesitated to do, not what you've been weighing your options on. We talk about you based on the actions that you took. And if you don't take any actions, well, how much do you think anybody's going to remember you? How many people you think are going to remember you? Understand, as I said at the top of this episode, thinking is a good thing. I'm not discouraging you from thinking, but understand that thinking has its place in life. Just like sleeping has its place, eating has its place, going to the bathroom has its place in life. But there's a time when we need to wake up out of the bed, push away from the dinner table, and get the hell out of the bathroom and go do something. And even if you take action, understand, even if you take the action, whatever that action is that you decide, you know what, I'm going to do what Dre said here and follow the advice that Dre put out in this episode, and I'm going to act off instinct and go do something and just take action in life. Even if you do that and you completely screw it up. I mean, you go out and it's just a complete shit show, a train wreck, and you completely mess. This is a complete disaster, the actions that you take. Go see episode number 1052, where I talked about how to make more mistakes in life, why to make more mistakes in life, and why it would be beneficial to you. You can learn and you can adjust, because the conscious mind is smart. Listen, I'm not trying to poo-poo the conscious mind and say that it doesn't matter. Listen, the topics that I come up with here for this podcast come from the conscious mind. So I'm not saying the conscious mind does not have value. I'm saying there's a hierarchy of value. Okay, it's like I'm not saying that, Lonzo Ball is not a good basketball player, but there's a hierarchy on the Lakers. There's some players on that team better than him. All right, I'm not saying he's not good. I'm saying he ain't the number one priority. It's the same thing. Your conscious mind is not bad. It's just not the number one priority. And oftentimes in life, and this podcast, again, the first thing that I say is what? Showing up every day doing the work, putting yourself out there boldly and authentically. Both of those are about actions. Those ain't about thinking about it. This ain't about, let me weigh my options, let me make sure I get it right before I do anything. This is what a lot of people spend their whole lives doing, and they tell themselves they're doing it because they don't want to mess up. I understand messing up is part of life. If you're out there taking action and being bold and putting yourself out there, you will mess up. So if you're trying to avoid messing up, that's the exact reason why you're failing. The thing you're trying to avoid is the exact thing you are bringing on to yourself by trying to keep it from happening, because you can't keep it from happening. This is life. We're humans. Humans are imperfect. Let's recap today's topic, which is you are thinking too much. And please reference episode number 190, which is What If I Fail? The full podcast archive at dreallday.com/podcast. Indecisive and overly cautious is a good way to describe most people. Risk averse, playing it safe, missing out on opportunity after opportunity, many of which they don't even know they're missing out on, simply because they're thinking themselves out of their own success by thinking instead of acting. Point number 1, when your mind sees something and tells you it's an opportunity, that is your instinct talking to you. Your instinct is what alerts you to opportunity. Your conscious mind is not nearly as smart or efficient as your instincts are, but we often let our conscious minds get involved with our instincts, fuck up the situation, and dilute our clear thought that was already delivered by our instinct. All we need to do was follow that instinct. We would have been good, but we had to muck it up and take time and hesitate and add delay by letting our conscious mind get involved in a conversation that it was not involved in the first place. Point number 2. Some things can only happen in life in the moment, meaning when your instinct tells you this is the opportunity, either happens then or it's not going to happen at all. And when you pause, hesitate, and think about it, you blow that moment and you end up missing your chance. Remember that even in conversation, we are not picking up on what people are actually saying. We're picking up on the energy that they're putting out. The energy with which you move is really what people are buying or not buying. It's not what you actually do, is the energy, the confidence that you put yourself out there, the boldness with which you put yourself out there is what people will decide to follow or decide not to follow. Even when you mess up. Listen, some of the greatest leaders out there had messed up, gone out there boldly, messed up, completely screwed up, did not deliver on the job, and people still followed them into the next thing. Why? Because the energy with which they put themselves out there, not because they were right all the time. Point number 3. Life only remembers what you did, not what you thought about. Thinking is a good thing. I'm not saying to not think, but thinking has its place. Just like sleeping has its place, eating has its place, going to the bathroom has its place. But it's the time you got to get out the bathroom. It's the time to stop sleeping and wake up. It's the time to stop eating, get away from the table. It's the time to stop thinking and take action. That's what we're talking about here today. And even if you take action and completely screw it up, making mistakes is how you learn and how you adjust. And that's what this podcast is about. Taking action, learning, adjusting, coming back, doing it again, getting it right, producing the result, getting the spoils of it. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com. Nobody out there needs more information. What you need these days is a strategy, frameworks, processes, how to actually take all the information that's out there, all the knowledge and content that's out there, make sense of it, and actually produce a result, a tangible result. That's why I created the Game Group. It is my membership site where you will get tangible results for specific areas: business, personal development, basketball skill, and professional basketball. Choose your area of focus, and we have targeted, specified outcomes every single month, along with live trainings, the ability to contact me, have your work critiqued by me, and a whole lot of other stuff. The link and all the information is down in the description at DreAllDay.com/membership. Get in the Game Group if you're ready to get some results and not just a whole bunch of information. Let's do it. Work on your game.